the star power from both these squads has to be attained from all players involved, and unfortunately, ENCE Academy were a little short-strawed. Our second map, Inferno, kicking off. Eyeballers picking the series, and they already lead after taking what is a very close Mirage. Miltzy already close with the dualies, finding these two openers. That already takes a spanner, or puts a spanner in the works for the Eyeballers T-side pistol. They've been stopped right at the gate.
Well, Pepstar's not ready to call this one done yet. Good opener back up towards B. Opens the map up a lot more for the Eyeballers. Possibilities seem endless now as they do end up resulting back towards B, but too close. You're not going to respect that smoke for free, and Juicy, one false move, and disadvantage will be put back to a 3-on-3. Yeah, they have pretty much just gambled everything here. There's only one towards A, and he's just falling. Sapik, huge kill. And it's going to set the Eyeballers in front once more. Bomb plant all but guaranteed. Now on the 3-on-3, you're going to have to play retake without a kit nonetheless. And Pepsor here's players running through from Banana. He won't go cleared in Mexi. He doesn't know that this player's low, but it won't be hard to deduce that after you find the kill, even spotting the barrel of Henu crossing the lane. Still info that the Eyeballers have, but right now Pepsor's very removed as they go back in. Henu, he actually didn't spot the head of Shine on the site, so now any chance seems gone with the win as Serva takes an unwinnable angle. It's Shine and Pepsor accredited for the majority of this win. The Eyeballers take the pistol away.
They lost these two kills so quickly. They were 3-on-5 right off the jump, and the ENCE Academy squad have not been able to convert that man advantage into a pistol round win. All that hard work there from Miltzy is squandered, and they just kept on fighting towards topside B, and by the time they realized, by the time they start to peel away, Juicy had already taken so much damage. It was a simple collection in the end. Eyeballers outplaying them positionally and punishing them for a very, very fast rotate. This is a JW classic. PP Bison out. Not the best weapon, not the best SMG you could probably have fielded, but one with a lot of bullets. But it won't matter if you don't get a chance to use it. At the moment, the Eyeballers losing out on Sapek. An early aggression is certainly nice and well placed here for the ENCE Academy, but Eyeballers are still poking and probing around the map.
I feel like they're kind of hoping that somebody's able to pull this back. Need somebody to step up in this 4-on-5 if they want to do it. And JW is probably the next one you keep your eye on, considering he's so close to the smoke and it's so close to expiring, and who actually gave him a chance. And JW on the repeat will capitalize, dinked back by the 5-7, but they're going to try to push down Juicy. No, it's a flash in, and Shine's given another pick. You know about a second player being here via the flashbang. Long range on the Mac 10 confirms there's two back towards B, but this rotate's going to be quickly pulled. We already saw them very, very fast-footed when it comes to over-rotation, so I'm not shocked to see the Eyeballers just sprint up and in. Right now, only one on the site is Serva, and he's only got a P250. A lot of damage back on the remaining players, though, so this is nowhere near impossible for these pistols.
Yeah, it's not the 5-7 that's up close. It's the Deagle of Potty that's currently blocked by smokes. It does allow Juicy to at least get closer by to throw a flash for Potty to peek, but this round's looking a little cooked. Once again, they don't have kits. They're trying to save their armor and pistols to give themselves a better chance in the follow-up round. It started well, but the Eyeballers once again recovering from a deficit and punishing some of these commitments. The lack of decision from certain positions, you know, not keeping good timers on the smoke in middle is really what pry bars this round wide open. And the Eyeballers able to capitalize. Once again, just rebounding between bomb sites. They're waiting for these mistakes, and when they re-aggressed through B, they had to hard clear for Shine. He's in prime position to find one free B, and the Eyeballers took that in good stride.
Good read from them. You can see its effect. They've earned their rights for an almost guaranteed third. Only going up against a handful of hand cannons. But I'm not one to count out Miltzy, so I guess I'll hold my breath for now, because you never know what this guy can be capable of. Same thing goes for Potty, but now as the stack has been unwound and Flush has taken space at car, it does kind of feel like the space they have for error is closing quickly. Henu was spotted pushing through the apartments, but neither of the 5-7s falls. They have the info, just not the kills to follow it up. And Serva, he may have a kill back with the Zeus. Nah, not close enough, even if he did get the shot off.
Yeah, Juicy has 7 HP and not much hope here. Yeah, overwhelmed. It was a swarm of T's headed his direction, and once again, the initial plan looked quite promising, but once they were sussed out in the apartments, the Eyeballers already had somebody jumped up balcony that could track those extra players down. And so, yeah, these pistols end up just about as empty-handed, if not more so. Last time the Eyeballers suffering 2 casualties, now keeping a clean sheet. And neither of these ENCE Academy players are looking for much additional damage. It's only if the Eyeballers decide to hunt will they be presented with opportunities. And I like that Potty is saving some armor here, but I don't think there's as much value for Miltzy to hold on to his pistol. The buy is around the corner. I'm astounded, actually, that Miltzy even took 3 damage to the bomb on the other side of the map.
It did not need to buff the bomb radius.
I'm honestly astounded.
It didn't need to happen.
Well, they come in with a good buy, and one that will actually outshine the Eyeballers. No AWP for them on the T side, but Potty, you saw the effect he had on Mirage. Certainly do so again. Henu taking a fight towards second middle. Actually, just down middle, rather. Took a lot of damage for his duel, but does collect on a kill and an advantage that ENCE Academy might be able to hold on to. I'm hoping they hold on to it, because they found themselves in man advantage situations already a couple of times here on this map.
Correct. Uh-oh, Flusher's got to watch out. That nade does dividends, and he falls to 18 HP. Sapik also low, but Juicy collects on that one, so it's not one that's going to get away. Eyeballers still seem very confident to go up into the A site, and I guess it's well put. Miltz is currently the only one who resides, and if they can take him down quickly, then again, things turn for the worse. There's no kits and no utility walking through the smoke. Pepstor! No way! Potty's missed that shot! A shell of what he looked like on Mirage, and now Serva. There's no chance back. At this point, you're playing for exits. The Eyeballers have earned their right to a 4-0 start, and it's another man advantage drop, this time 5-on-3 again.
Yeah, they played so safe. Only one actually committed to the site. They thought for sure, because of the fact that they were down that man, that Archers was going to be the main priority for the Eyeballers, but they just run up short, and the flash couldn't have been better placed. Serva at least collecting on these kills where players were low HP. Pepsor can still sit inside the pit based on the plant. But those extra Eyeballers players had to get some distance, and it does come at a pretty heavy cost. Thing is, ENCE do find themselves staring down the barrel of, once again, a 4-round lead for the Eyeballers. They displaced at least 1 round by now on Mirage. And half commitment alongside the saved weapon of Serva. You see them floating 2k. They're up to max loss bonus. See if Serva can actually do a lot here. Certainly revealed his position, but the nade helped weaken JW for that fight. AWP can still be recovered, retrieved, and making sure that they also want to keep that as far away from ENCE Academy as possible.
If I can't have it, no one can kind of mentality. Oof. Well, also a over-rotation mentality. And, you know,
A gamble.
how many times is going to have to get punished for them to change it up a little bit? I know it's early on, but this, I believe, is the 3rd time they've delegated so many resources off of little or no info.
Yeah, this is less of an over-rotation and more just we're going to try and reinforce one side of the map. Thing is, it hasn't helped. You know, the extra players have only allowed the players that already sat on the A-bomb site to feel like they could be a little bit more aggressive, and they have simply found Pepsor lying in wait. they went B, they would simply have said, okay, we'll call it quits. We'll hold on to the extra armor and just buy up in the next round. But yeah, Pepsor is single-handedly dismantled every one of these players on ENCE Academy that thought they had at least a semblance of control on this A site.
Cody just looking to hang on to the M4 at this rate, but Shine spots him. Yeah, it's not an angle you're going to get away with. The rebuy's going to come through anyway, so it's not like it's the worst of losses, but kind of insult to injury.
Yeah, it hurts. They're not finding as many kills in these rounds, really. And the Eyeballers are doing some of the best work at the moment. You know, leveraging some of that experience and punishing some of the, yeah, I'd say happy-go-lucky attitude of ENCE Academy to bound between these bomb sites. But Eyeballers' rotates are quicker, more succinct.
Oh my god, that nade.
Yeah, the timing is beautiful.
Wasapic wants blood. Peeking into mid, Henu doubles down, bombs drop. You said he was missing from Mirage. Well, now he's ready to show up here on Inferno as Milty comes through the smoke. It looks like finally they may have cracked the code. But as soon as I say that, 2 kills come back. And it invites question as to how long this round will go on for. JW shuts down one of the banana players. Hody's still here too. Knife out. JW gonna essentially give over the kill. And Pepsor now, where does he go? Looks back lane. Almost gets the kill on Juicy. I'm actually surprised that Dink only does 20 damage through the wall, but you'd imagine if he finds that kill, I don't favor Pody's chances.
No, absolutely. You know, there would have been rifles to be recovered on the path, but that could have been another man advantage that certainly led astray. Only or rather 2 survivors for the ENCE Academy squad, but really solid timing on utility usage. The nade in towards second middle on the jump up to Balk, as well as that flash for Henu to get those initial 2 kills. But after they get those 2 kills, they stick around and they almost find out.
I love this base Flush has been taking in these early rounds. It's so good, and he does it again. Even though he's not necessarily getting a kill, he's just forcing the ENCE Academy team back. And alongside that, you've got Pepsor with the frag on A. It's so much respect around the board now forced to be given to the Eyeballers.
Looks like they're primed to try and go for retake utility on the ENCE Academy side, and they were boosted on the Eyeballers, but they break it down before they see what the ENCE Academy squad are up to. 3 players committed B. Only 1 will be left in charge of the primary site. And that's Juicy. Definitely was having his influence on Mirage, especially T side, in terms of just taking fights and his willingness to do so alone. But really put in a tough position now with the 5 players on Eyeballers converging on his side of the map.
They're going to try to converge on Pit, but Juicy misses the first shot. Even unblind, he can't find it. And Shine is lucky to get away alive with that one, let alone with the kill. Milty tries to respond to JW. But it was more so a pity prize that he can't even collect. And all of a sudden, it turns 6-1 as they even want to hunt the remaining guns away. Pody and Milty have so frequently been allowed to get away with some of these weapons, but this time, you're going to have to earn them as Pepsor's already come all the way up and through Banana, but this may not be an angle you anticipate, especially for an op, no less. Barrel spotted, so he'll be prepared and well ready for this kill to come through, the display to peek in. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change the subject.
Yeah. This round hurts. Juicy actually played positionally. The best spot he could have effectively to find that first kill. The flash, this is a misexecution from the Eyeballers. The fact that it full blinded Shine and he's still able to recover in time to deal with Juicy. Like, you'd say he missed the first shot. He missed all the shots that came after it as well. And, that was all due to the partial blindness. But if Shine has enough time to avert his eyes and recover from that flash, then, Juicy's messed up. And mechanically, you know, I think Juicy has looked solid, but that was one of the points where he was definitely the pressure point on that A site that unfortunately had the whole squad paralyzed. All right, Eyeballers hot out the gate once again. I like that they're able to get off to these solid leads. It's kind of what you expect coming into this matchup, but this is, again, one of these wake-up calls for the ENCE Academy squad that they might have been a big fish in a small pond, but there's always a bigger pond.
Well, there's also a bigger fish, and JW is that bigger fish. Nate on the corner, too, denies Miltsy of half his HP. Serva's still here as well, but I don't know if they're entirely going to be ready for someone in sandbags, though it doesn't seem to matter. Especially when the repeaks favor the Eyeballers so heavily. It is a 2-on-5, and the Eyeballers are currently speed-running these rounds against ENCE Academy.
Yeah, it's got to feel a little helpless in certain points. When they found advantages, they have certainly been testing the Eyeballers, but when the Eyeballers have found a pick, there's another one where that comes from. And yeah, these deficits. I mean, even being 4-on-5 here, many teams in the upper echelons would maybe even just call a save. But yeah, to go in with so much pace and get so much success out of it as well, the Eyeballers are having a field day. Juicy may have secured at least the exit for him and his teammate to hold on to these weapons, but it's a small silver lining on what is ultimately a dark cloud.
I mean, they're allowed to consistently save some of these guns, but what's the point, right? It feels like eventually they're going to have to bite the bullet and try to go for one of these disadvantageous retakes, because you can save these guns so the cows come home, but they've not made a difference. Even the op there just got steamrolled. The rifles weren't able to hold up. And eventually it's just going to get to this point where you need rounds more than you need the guns. Yeah,
and I'd love for them to try and go for some kind of a set piece on the CT side, whether it's, you know, double pushing into the apartments or, you know, a quick convergence on fighting for mid control. Something of the sort, because the Eyeballers at the moment just feel like they're able to attain so much open territory. You know, I would have even liked to have seen them start with like a 3B setup where they take aggressive banana control, but ENCE Academy are at the moment playing very defensive, and it's going to allow Eyeballers to work through the motions. Wow, that's a really good read. That's actually very impressive that they double nade exactly on the logs for that boost, but it may not matter. Pepsor pry-barring, finding the opener, Juicy out of the equation, and sure, Potty takes his place, but Serva also hits the deck the other side of the map.
Well, rotating in, there's two now extra defenders towards B. Pepsor, he wants to pick this trade back up onto Pody. Sprinting out, it's the worst time for him to pull the molly, and it's going to rotate the entire T side back. They're going into A at this rate. Flushes inside of the smoke, and he knows Miltsy's there. He spots the gun barrel, heading with a 1v4, and he could take this kill back. Sure, go ahead. What do they care? He thinks they're going to come into B thanks to Flusha, and he eventually turns, knows something is suspicious. But the round is essentially already concluded. And this time the Eyeballers don't seem too headstrong on letting him keep this rifle. You've already got JW cutting the exits, and Pepsor's deep in CT trying to clear these angles out one by one. Oh my lord, this is so brazen. Everyone's left A. They're all going for this hunt.
Well, they knew he was B, and they had him contained on the rotate, so he has to be somewhere. It could be quite expensive, though. Henu doing his best to at least pull some guns out of their hands, and, well, he may just find every single one of them. Shine 9 HP, and Henu still healthy, but a quick headshot could certainly be his undoing, and Shine will deliver exactly that. Can't even get a minor save across, and this time no weapons carried over here for the ENCE Academy, but this is already looking pretty dire. It feels like any time they try and go in for these sort of mid-round peaks, even at the mouth of the bomb sites, they're just getting shredded. and they're playing a safe game, and it's just not panning out for them. You know, we call back to that round where they had so much success in fighting for mid control off of a flash that I think Miltzy set up Henu for. You know, that's one round that looked so clean, and we've yet to see anything even vaguely similar for the ENCE Academy since.
Yeah, no, it just feels like ENCE are scared to do anything right now, and it feels like everybody individually doesn't want to be the one to make the first mistake, but that's such a death loop that you can get stuck in. We see teams fall to it so many times. And yeah, you know, it sucks to be here, but giving respect to the eyeball is exactly what they want, and that's what their game plan kind of hinges on right now as they flash back into Banana, Flusha, uproots. 2 for 2 trade, though, ain't all that to go into right now if you're the eyeballers, but they don't have too much utility. They've got one set to go in, even missing a smoke for Coffins or CT. Pick your poison. But a little attention to detail there for Shine throwing the op out of the map. Even if they lose the round, you do not want them getting their hands on that weapon.
ENCE Academy's stoicness has actually helped them here, though. The eyeballers were anticipating that they would want to try and fight for top Banana, maybe even get their hands on AWP, but they sit pretty with this 2-man setup on the A site, and they've made the right call here. Eyeballers trying to converge with the 3 remaining.
Utility plus juicy out of pit, though. Smoke will guarantee that somebody's home, but you now have to deal with him somehow, though they let the crossfire slip. 15 seconds to go. He's eaten a nade. 1 HP, and Sapik deletes. Henu, one of the more winnable retakes that he's there. Now, this time kind of coerced into going for, considering the lackluster investment they had brought in. But takes the long reroute through the apartments, XM10, so it's not even like you can upgrade to a rifle of some sort. And yeah, this head's gonna be shown and given to Sapik. It doesn't even preemptively pull the trigger. I like that. I know it's a small detail, but can go a long way, right? I mean, you maybe panic, shoot, MP9, now knows where you are, gets a chance, and it's just denying them of that opportunity.
Yeah, this is looking pretty thorough from the eyeballer side. Always keeping a lurker to some capacity on one side of the map, and any sort of counter action if you want to try and play that game on ENCE Academy, you're just getting trounced. And this is, this is the thing. There was going to be an experience gap. We understood that. I feel like eyeballers have leveraged that experience quite well so far in this map. Hell, even on Mirage, that I'd argue that shone through. But you have to also bear in mind that because of the recent stretch of poor form on this map, young players and a squad that's trying to establish systems, and actually, I think some of the protocols have looked pretty solid. To find themselves at such a heavy deficit like that, you have this creeping feeling that it'll happen again. This is a map they've probably rehearsed and put a lot of work into, but they're just not finding results, and it's only being extended tenfold against the eyeballers. 1 kill from Miltzy, at least as a counter to the early aggression the eyeballers show over towards Banana, but Pepstor's gotten another, but Serva comes in big with 2. A spray down towards bottom B, where there's a limited amounts of resources for the eyeballers to actually take much space elsewhere. A man advantage that looks like the best chance that ENCE have had in a while.
Don't count your chickens, though. Shine seems like he's very well aware of the possibility of someone having lurked up, and there is a lot of utility that they will end up throwing in. Papsor walk clear, but deletes Miltzy. There's not a chance, and they even have a smoke to cover off CT with how deep he was in Banana. Knowing that one was still towards A, they run the risk that nobody's in B, and it pays off. Don't even end up mollying off the coffin side just yet. Another smoke to refresh on CT soon as well. Shine, what the? All right, well.
A gift.
This one that's not going to be overlooked. Roddy has a smoke to throw towards Banana, but I think he reconsiders it, considering, how many times you see people get spammed and lined up through it. Pepsor. Don't necessarily know that he's in Banana just yet, but you will now as the smoke goes atop of the bomb. Doesn't even want to let Proddy get on that defuse. Flash goes in, thinks he's off, now needs to continue spamming off the mark. Proddy's got the stick, and of all ways to win around and finally shut down the eyeballers, that's how they do it, and they upgrade to the off.
Oh, they'll take whatever they can get. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. There's a lot of reliance on missed shots and missed opportunities. Hell, missteps from the eyeballers as well, which they have done so very infrequently in these late round situations. But yeah, that one position and push from Shine really gives them a chance, and they don't let it go to waste. Potty trying to peek in for a mid-fight, but doesn't overstay his welcome. And this is what I was wanting to see a few rounds earlier, but even with Serva getting himself down bottom B, he's lost his supportive player. Miltsy trying to peek deep just in case someone crept past, but they'll have no idea that Serva's here. But Shine, his suspicions were raised. He's like, I swear this corner is supposed to be deeper. Oh, man. Oh.
I can't believe it, man.
The thing is, he wanted to play trigger discipline, because if eyeballers were heavy banana this round, he would have probably killed 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Oh, as if.
The funniest part is, too, like, I favor JW here. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said something. Hold on a second. Henu trying to go back in. Flash and half wall, and he's now been spotted. See you in the lobby. Yeah, the funny thing about that is that usually when something like that happens, a player panics, jumps a little bit, pulls their gun out, tries to go haywire with it. Shine just like pulls out this smoke and slowly turns around as he realizes something's wrong.
Yeah, what am I stuck on? Something's not right here. I've always thought about that. You know, it's so, like, obviously in a game environment, it's so different. But if you're suspicious of somebody behind you, like, just pull out your gun, pretend like you don't know they're there, and then try and whip on them. You know, like, give yourself a fighting chance. But, oh man, quite comical. But I imagine there are no laughs in the ENCE Academy camp. Even with a pick like this, so many have gone astray that they know they have to keep their wits about them and try and make the right call. Even with the lack of weaponry, even with the pick, they look to reinforce this A side of the map. And right now, the eyeballers will not oblige.
Oh, well, all right. There goes your advantage. And there it goes even further.
What is Pepsor on this map? 18 kills.
Underscore bots. And now they're just going to run into B. What's really going to stop you? I mean, they double peeked in top mid with rifles. Surely pistols won't be the ones to hold, right? Or maybe they will. Miltsy. The trade that's welcomed as the bomb is stuck. Shine. We'll get it all behind the fountain, but probably should have an instant trade. This one won't be tossed away in the ENCE Academy. Do finally trade back another round, but I don't think the op is recoverable.
Yeah, I think it might just be a little too far away.
Should be able to get it, though. They can afford it.
Yeah, if they could have found that for free, that would have been a nice little extra touch, but a rare blunder from the eyeballers, taking so much damage to those pistols, then also losing the opener in through middle. By the time they actually get to the bomb site, yeah, it wasn't looking that great for ENCE, but everybody was low HP. Everyone had taken damage to those pistols earlier on, so the softened opponents are going to be easier to frag. Gotta take it in good stride, though. Gotta find at least a round in succession. They have not been able to chain 2 rounds together for the life of them. And the eyeballers aren't waiting around. This time, much faster pace. Not through B. Over at A, they'll decide to show all this presence, but no one peeking. And so Sapek should be suspicious. They're either playing a crossfire with Mini Pit and the site, or sitting in Grave. And Sapek certainly had an inkling.
What the?
How does he get away with that?
Well, I mean, there's still 2 here, so I can't imagine they're favored, but maybe if they isolate fights like that, they are. Serve up Pody, last to tell a tale. Now they're just going to start jumping in the utility. Try to get through this smoke. Molly to keep them behind it and at bay. There's no funny business around just yet. Nobody's flanking through Arch. Nobody's trying to do some brazen thing through CT. It's just by the books here for the post plant. Server the only one with a kit, and they're going to start to back away, or maybe not. Again, re-incentivized by that one op pick through from Pody, but they need to move a little bit quicker. Again, Server's the only kit, and that trade coming through should pretty much solidify it. Smoke thrown, and Pody at this point is just going to have to stick it.
Did you get it again?
Or do you spam? No way, no way, no way, no how? You do it again? Are you serious? After everything that happens? Oh, dude, this round is insane too, because they molly in Arch. JW's teammate volleys back, and he runs through both of them, full well knowing, regardless of if he gets that pick or not, he's dying.
I can't believe Poddy is just unkillable through smokes. This guy is smoke defused now twice for the ENCE Academy to get another round accrued. This half was looking pretty awful for the Finns, and now there's a path to recovery. 11-4, 10-5. It's certainly not great, but it's workable, and Poddy added confidence. Look at the aggressive setup here from ENCE Academy. The apartments is firmly off limits, but JW's taken over the arches. Poddy gets there in time, but he had his knife drawn. Thing is, Miltsy able to trade. He was there to plug the gap. Poddy just didn't know that there was a gap where his head could have been taken off.
Looks like it may be a good finish. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows to close out this half for ENCE Academy. However, okay, never mind. I thought maybe Flusher was gonna, I don't know, get a couple of kills back, somehow take the round. Nah. Shine left in a 1v2. Right idea for the first, dude. How do you expect that, man? Like, Serva, it doesn't even matter that he gets traded. I'd be mad.
Yeah, as if he's hard cleared it. It is recoverable. This half has turned out to be okay enough, but the Eyeballers were so dominant for so long in that first half that it will take some mental fortitude for ENCE to answer with anything meaningful. This is just... It's really been a tale of two almost entirely different stories across our maps. We had some great star power shine through, but at the moment, ENCE Academy, everyone's kind of doing the same as one another. They're having their moments, but not always being able to chain successes together. This pistol will be hard to read into, though. ENCE Academy not met with any resistance through the arches. They're trying to perform a wrap, but there are 4 players that can try and defend this, but Flushes turn the wrong direction, and Miltsy finds his first as well. Pepsor, 1 will not be enough, and JW, he went on a journey through those apartments, through second middle, and he found nothing for his trouble. So this pistol, it's a little labored on the final kill, but ENCE dial it in.
I gotta worry a little bit. We've seen so many comebacks in the past few days that I honestly, I'm not even gonna say this is over. I can't in my right mind. Save in from the Eyeballers, though, is only going to grant 7 over to the Finns. They want to get the guns out early. Can you blame them?
Keep your eye on Miltsy as well for this T side. Had a lot of influence in that Apex game, but they also did have a 13-10 lead and couldn't close. So, again, there are fears about how that can play out. Every nade that they had just sailed towards CT, and they didn't get a single kill from it, but they certainly weakened them up. Flash is great for trying to get at least 1 more kill. Should know that Pepsor is close by, but a fresh smoke to try and keep Pepsor away. Ugh. Even pulling util. The bomb planter had to get off just to make sure that he survived. Considering the chaos, considering the stack from the Eyeballers, ENCE have done a good job at mitigating the damage.
I was worried there specifically because Juicy was looking at the Coffins push. Henu was already delegated towards a banana flank. The only avenue that was technically open there for a second was CT. And that's because obviously, Pody was planting, but realized the possibility, and actually good on him to catch wind in time. I gotta worry about JW. Exit should be almost guaranteed through CT spawns, so I can't blame him for taking this route. Gonna try to do some damage, but they are long gone, or actually, no, they're not. JW trying to ruin the day of one of these lonely players, though, and it won't be loud. Henu, good to hold, and ENCE good for 7.
First real test now. Pistol in the conversion round, fine. You might have that. And now you have to deal with rifles across the board. And we've seen the type of game that Pepsor's been having on the rifles. Shine's been having a pretty solid outing as well. Need to find Miltsy and the rest of the crew a lot to find end success, but a nice double setup. And the flashes are just, again, just so good. USC didn't have a fair fight, and a double man advantage for Eyeballers right out of the gate onto this CT half. And, well, JW just spam one through the smoke, but he will get punished. Miltsy, it's a little awkward, but gets there in the end, and even tapping for Flusha as well. Pepsor's made his rotate all the way around, though. He was there as support over at B, but they're pulling util, but the damage, it's not quite enough. ENCE back into this 2-on-2 after trailing 3-on-5. They've got a post plant to work off.
Looks like there's some connection issues afoot, too. It sucked to lose a round like that because of it, but again, you might just have to swallow that pride. Through the smoke, Sapik trying to bait a few members in. There's no way. This was a 5-on-2 from there. Not a single kill back. Sapik tries to be a hero, but he can only do so much. And Miltsy's feeling good now for the Academy squad.
Yeah, I mean, I forget. It started 5-on-3. I took a snapshot on my brain, but I forgot that JW got that kill through smoke down middle. And still Miltsy and Potty able to put it together. I mean, fantastic stuff. And honestly, great control there for Miltsy. Pressured by an SMG at distance, he just simply tapped Flusha out of the round. But it was scary. It was close. You can't always rely on winning these man deficits. I would have said the same for Eyeballers had they not succeeded as many times as they did.
True.
Let's see if proof is in the pudding that ENCE could do the same.
Oh, Shine gifted a freebie as a man leaves banana, and he almost even takes another player with him. But they've done the due diligence to bait ENCE Academy, and going back over towards A. Still need to set up that player in Graveyard. It's not like Flush is going to be guaranteed of a couple of kills unless you give him some reason to. Pepsor tucked into the site, though, as they look to do more damage. Round through lane, Deagles start to collapse in upon the ENCE Academy squad, and even though they tossed away a 5-on-2 in the previous, now it looks a little more contained. Cody last alive as they all line up, but he can't find any more than the one. And the Eyeballers finally get the ball rolling on the CT side. And remember, with how expensive that last round was, the buy here is going to be struggling. But you have to do it.
Yeah, they bounced in for the first round on the CT side off of a half buy. Felt like something that you couldn't afford to have let slip on the ENCE Academy. And, you know, they doubled the gun round. Weirdly better, even though they started 3-on-5, 2-on-5. Again, those aren't that replicatable. They couldn't let their guard down, but now Eyeballers have a firm economic advantage. They have the better weapons coming into this round. They even have a bit of a buffer built on Shine and Pepsor alike. So lose this, Eyeballers could still muster together something.
JW posted with the AWP. Not going to hit the first, but it's at least bought time for his teammate to come back through. Pepsor, though, blinded off of the angle, waiting for the reflash in. Well placed, well timed. But only walks away with 2 Tech 9s, trying to overwhelm the AWP of JW. But again, rotations have been pulled. Now it's a Khalil, though, and he's dancing around this pillar. Low is the member beyond him, but Miltsy ends up collecting the trade. Both remaining defenders low, rather offenders. And Flush is leaving A. Where are they going to rotate into? I love the angle he picks up. But if they go Arch, then, boy, is he going to regret his decision. Though it looks like this risk is soon to pay off. Miltsy, he'll be walking into the angle. Why the hell would you ever expect this, right? To look mid and even turns back. There's no way you expect something like that, but still. Bygones are bygones, and Flushes shuts down the round. Op isn't recovered, but the Eyeballers pick up 12 nonetheless, and now they go against Nico to farm some checks.
God, those positions are just so ratty. I mean, yeah, they're hard positions to clear. The only reason that they're sort of turned the right direction in the first place is because they're anticipating that if there was all that presence over at A, that someone could have pushed through deep B and just sat towards the underpass to cut off that rotate through short. But Flusher just handles business himself. They had to worry about the spawn wrap as well. That's why Pepsor had that covered. Into just standard issue pistols, and Sapek's still hanging around. This is real dangerous work from him, and you know, we've seen some good flash work from the CTs thus far, but they give over a rifle, and they do damage onto Shine as well. That's going to force him away.
Yeah, but now the HE start to collapse in. Oh, whoa. They continue to get these kills, and this was supposed to be an eco-farming round for the Eyeballers. This turns very costly, and the door opens once again for ENCE Academy. Now, I do want to remind that we saw a situation similar to this on Mirage. Now, it was a role reversal of sides. It was Eyeballers on the T side, so, you know, arguably a little bit easier to get momentum. But at the same time, you're going to start getting rounds 2 for the price of 1 if you can get this one here. Obviously, it feels like it's make or break, right? If you get shut down here, it's match map series point. Unlikely. But all you're looking for is a chance back in.
Keeping the economy modest, given that they went in with Glocks the last round, is important. You know, they answer here, and Eyeballers shouldn't be able to afford the best of buys in the following. Likely to go with a half. And I can allow ENCE Academy up to double digits, but all about whether they get there first. Flash is in, and Sapek, once again, will just capitalize. He's being set up for so many of these easier fights.
Lord.
And look at the bombardment after the fact as well. Potty and Juicy were trying to back away, but they've actually found counter kills over in middle and at B as well. Pepsor plugging one of the gaps on this A site, so keeping it maintained in a 3-on-3 while Shine takes space towards top B. These players weakened up, so it's one-shot headshots with this M4 now. But Miltsy might have just found a gap, all about whether Potty stays alive to capitalize.
And you're never going to expect this. Shine is a dead man at this rate, essentially. Considering they know somebody was here.
It's been open a while, though.
Wait, no way, he knows that Miltsy's going to walk in! But he still doubles down. And it's 2-on-2 guaranteed. Not a lot of utility to come back through for the retake, but they are certainly low. Low enough that it's worth noting, but Flush is so far away that already you're going to eat away a good 5-10 seconds. Flush is looking to pick up utility to further assist the cause here, though. Pepsor, far ahead of the pack. I don't know if ENCE Academy are going to get to use that utility in this round. Are they going to smoke off CT? They will. Lighten the workload a little bit, but now you've got to break through this crossfire with only one flashbang, and Pody's just holding it out for Miltsy. I love the way they played it, and yeah, considering the Eyeballers haven't been given anything back in, they realize this round's done. Told you earlier, man, this is going to come at the cost of that, how expensive your other rounds were.
Miltsy's dead.
Yeah, he's gone. Goodbye.
Potty got him killed as well, which is not ideal, but they get the round together. They do get the round together. Yeah, that timing was actually kind of crazy there for Shine. You know, that kill makes or breaks the round, and I think just got that information relayed to him that his arches were exposed, and you know, there was a timing there for Miltsy, but it was eventually accounted for by the Eyeballers. Didn't leave them any less exposed, however. And so, yeah, the ENCE Academy back in with another round win, but chaining successive rounds together has been a difficulty for this squad. We only saw a bit of a resurgence in the tail end of the first half and, you know, moving into our second. So consistency is key. And they have to make sure to keep in mind the extra weaponry that was saved over by the Eyeballers, as well as what they could have invested into this round. See, 3 rifles, 2 SMGs. This is a good map for SMGs. Sapek. This time the flash won't be perfectly placed, won't full blind the players around the other side, so Sapek might just have to peel away from this. They don't have the most amount of resources on this Swedish roster.
Well, JW and Pepsor both fall. It's an overextension at bracket, but thankfully they have a third here in Flusha. Good damage onto the first few, but again, it doesn't really set Saptic up for success. Long range on the MP9, and with him falling, like I said, the door's ripped wide off the hinges. It feels like the eyeballers are kind of playing with a gun-out mentality at this rate. I mean, you look at that round and how much utility ENCE Academy use and don't really get anything off of it. There's no mollies left when they end up hitting bracket, and at that point, eyeballers, they could have started chaining smokes on top mid, buying time for the rotations, setting up in a more, I'd say, aggressive crossfire, which it looks like they were in. And ENCE Academy wouldn't have really been able to do much.
Yeah, easy to say with hindsight, and when we know what's going on. It's the blind man's game, but yeah, they have been showing a lot of confidence on these players to just take fights straight to the ENCE Academy guys. And I said that's what I wanted in the pregame. You know, the idea of them almost hazing the young bloods. But these guys can shoot, and they're certainly showing exactly that. They are very close to bringing us once again to a tie game. Only time we've really seen them in a tie game was, well, the start of this map, funnily enough. They've been trailing all the way. This gun round with weirdly identical buys. You know, considering ENCE Academy's success, for them to retain these SMGs is a little bit confusing, considering they are fighting to basically break the eyeballers' money again and even position themselves in a spot where they could overtake. There's two SMGs on both sides. Try to keep their money healthy, but wonder if that will affect their fights.
JW gets a spam, finally decides to pull the trigger, and it only gives away a little bit more info to the ENCE Academy squad. Grouping up round brackets. Eyeballers have decided to let it be, and plenty of time to play with for the Academy. As they look to go A, I believe, at this rate. They're not even contemplating the idea of maybe going for a fake round B, pulling rotations. They're just going to execute in. Confidence is key to some extent, but this is going to be a very difficult and tricky crossfire to break. This Moto Smoke will tell you everything, too. As soon as this utility gets thrown, you'd imagine Shine, or rather JW, is going to come back in. Yeah, the smoke's now dropped on Pit. Papsor falls off Balk. And this is where this crossfire becomes so powerful, or maybe not. Lusha gives him a chance to find the trades back, but now as all the utilities been dumped in and they still haven't dealt with the Pit player, seems like the beginning of the end is starting to be drawn thin or drawn close, as Henu has only got 2 HP now to play with.
Yeah, Flush's 1 health has had a whole lot of influence. Stayed alive, and Henu has to kind of call it quits. He's hoping that they're maybe just doubled in and at the archers and drawn attention to the site, playing around that bomb, but no one giving anything away. Henu has to save, and he moves into a decent position to do so. It almost confused Saptic. I think he wanted to kill him after time, but wasn't sure where he was going. That was a key round. It felt like the one that ENCE needed to plug up the gap, and while they have money to reinvest, eyeballers can buy back in with better weapons than they even had in that last round. You know, we saw some of the shortcomings there from the ENCE Academy in terms of the weaponry that they had to work with. The SMGs, you know, the trading potential is somewhat limited. And even though they got space on the site, it doesn't matter when you don't have teammates and you've not dealt with, you know, pivotal positions like the sort of crossfire setup that we saw from both the respective Pit players. I guess Balk and Pit alike. So Pepsor transition into the Pit, as is the common fallback. But if they don't win here, this map is over.
Yeah, a lot falls onto the shoulders of this round. Up comes out, though, so it's arguably their best chance yet. And there's even still an MP9 in play for the eyeballers, so not like they're kicking it back on easy street either. UC is close. It looks like they want to flash him in, exchanging glances, but not blows. Shine entirely independent on B right now, and he's not going to get the time required to throw in the counter utility. Oh, wow. All right, well, shockingly double dinked Serva, but even he is getting wrapped, or so it seems. They're aware that somebody could be pushed up. Those trees going to be hard cleared. 1 for 1, really not all that shabby, as the bomb plant's guaranteed to go down at this rate. Miltzy's tagged. Zamales goes to the back of the bomb site. They blast through. Miltzy, very vulnerable as Potty peeks back in. They know where both players are, though. Someone threw a flash, someone shot off with the off. Flush is just holding, walking back in. Pody got it back. Shot posted, but not to counteract the op. The eyeballers have so many good ideas there, but they just can't deal with Pody. He's the X factor that keeps ENCE Academy alive.
Gotta say, there are so many good enabling flashes in this map. Like this back and forth between ENCE Academy and the Eyeballers. We've seen so many times where players like Sapek, Shine are sort of set up with these banger flashes, and ENCE break into B with a solid flash in the first place, and they close one with exactly the same. They had a deficit, but Potty has been a key man on both maps. Once again, a closer, and where they failed the last round, they succeed with that one. Now the Pistols are the Eyeballers. This was a pivot point. The economy was in a rough spot for both respective squads. Eyeballers are just closer to the finish line. And Pepsor, while he gets his hands on an AK, they're also going to try and at least keep one player nearby to see if he can take that out of his hands. Zach Miltzy's in for a pretty good time. Yeah, that AK can, well, I would have liked to see Miltzy even throw that AK out of the map, to be quite honest, but Serva is en route to try and recover it because he still has an SMG.
Clearing all the nooks and crannies. So he kind of fancied his chances.
Nice.
Oh, they get it to him. Nice, last second. Penny pinching. It works. One thing about this CT side, though, is that it's been riddled with the downfall of economy, and they just have not been able to get the op out for so long now. JW, certainly the lack of impact is felt is the difference from Mirage. And we do see more of a full affair now for ENCE, where Serva, he's had his good impact in the first half. Everyone else showing up here now. And Juicy gets a pass since he did pretty well over on Mirage.
Well, Serva's going to be forced back by the Molotovs. And also, you know, can't forget to mention Henu. Had a pretty rough first map, but was a big propellant as to why they even attained as many rounds as they did moving into this second half. JW, he has to go clear, but no one goes for it. A JW double, and that will be a mistake that ENCE may live to regret. Arch is taken, sure, but still one more player to find in this A site, and Flush has been tricky with his utilization of smokes, the way he dances round angles. Potty spots him, but now it's all about whether those players can move up from those arches.
Again, all in an effort to buy time, which is successfully done. Pody's still here, though, again! And Shine's flanking, but it's the deuce! Pody gets every kill! And now not only is it tied up, but the money's broken, the mentality's broken, and Eyeballers have nothing. Henu calls attack. You'd almost imagine that's 100% to let the Eyeballers sulk on that.
What is this guy made of? You know, we kind of failed to mention that Pepsor found himself to 30 kills before that round even got started. You know, still more rounds to play out in regulation, but Potty has been so impactful in these past few rounds. He's kept the string of rounds alive. He's allowed ENCE to feel better about how this map is played out. We're guaranteed all 30, and ENCE are projected to be the first ones there based on the economy. Yeah, it's mental to think that Potty's been as consistent as he has throughout this entire series. Not only being a star man, getting to 34 on that first map in a losing effort, could well find himself at 30 and more here on the second map too.
Currently a 6-1 run, where the only round the Eyeballers have been able to find was off of that eco. Pushing down Banana. No way. There's no way. They didn't look logs. No way. Juicy gets away with that kill. Going into the site, and talked about this angle yesterday, Flusha. Trying to bait in for him again. Milsey, a half. Well, I'd say lackluster clear, but peek back guarantees. And the prediction seems to be the outcome. First to map point is ENCE Academy looking to trade out maps. Unless somehow the eyeballers can push to overtime.
If we end up in overtime, I fear for the ENCE Academy. In all honesty, you know, that's why that, you know, the experience, the tenure of these players can really be magnified. But here in regulation, they're doing a damn good job. And I think eyeballers had a lot cleaner a T side, but ENCE have proven to be clutch. The deficits they find themselves in, but they still close out. It's been lovely to watch them remain composed in these hectic situations.
I feel like Sapik needs to save this off. If they're going to get an op into JW's hands, you'd love it to be somebody like Sapik, so he can still buy armor, so he can still get some utility. And again, it's been so long since we've seen JW on the big green that this feels like a must. And probably what the timeout's called to talk about.
Really thinking through how this last round could play out here on the eyeballers. It has not been the smoothest of sailings. After coming into this half, 10-5. Hell, 10-2 at one point or another in this game. ENCE Academy were the first to break to 15 and could close it in regulation. Do what they had done to them right back to the eyeballers with a 16-14 heartbreak. All comes down to the here and now. The best looking buy that eyeballers have had in quite some time. Flush has been on an SMG in a number of these rounds. See whether ENCE can actually piece it together. Already getting top banana control, and JW very defensive, but look at the rotates in from the Swedes. Doubling up with Sapek and Shine alike. That's because they're trying to set up the flash for Sapek to succeed.
All off of timing, though. JW's taking the first contact, maybe awaiting timing shot on Juicy. Now you don't even necessarily need the reflash, but they do it anyway. Utility starting to be dumped in an attempt and effort to delay the ENCE Academy from getting an A before the rotations meet them at the punch, but now Flusha is alone. And the time is not good enough to have bought. Flusha gets the nade down, but he's stuck in the middle of the site, burning to a crisp, stuck in the corner. And Service found another. Into the rotations with the bomb dropped in no man's land. Flusha was never cleared, pulls out to the sidearm, but it's a 1v3 that Shine won't win. And in the midst of the chaos, it's ENCE Academy confirming the map trade in the most unlikely of fashions. Man advantage is tossed aside. Stardom showing massive amounts for ENCE Academy, and without it, they wouldn't be here. But now they get to force a third.
14 of 18 rounds, the ENCE Academy side have certainly pulled their socks up to pull it to all three maps. And that means we're head to overpass as our final standing ground about whether an Academy team can cause an upset or whether the eyeballers will find themselves with at least one more win in the column.